Right.
Yeah, because I understand that you.
Miss Joyce. Hi, Joyce.
Hi, Miss Patricia. How are you?
I am well. It is so good to hear your voice, Miss Joyce.
It's,
I don't have a
Voice
camera,
too.
so you can't see my face.
it's good to see you. Hi, Miss Thompson. How are you?
Joyce, how are you?
I'm good. Your questions were amazing.
Oh, thank you again.
Oh.
Stop this. No. 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 There. There.
I thought it was here.
Hope
The
that's
good
not,
thing is we all know what that is.
hope that's not a person.
Yeah, the good thing is we all know it's probably Dolly.
Sure.
Work.
Sweetie, you got any things under control over there?
My little dog is tearing up paper,
Oh, I was hoping.
paper that I need. The tax papers for my father's.
My dog ate my homework, right?
I mean,
Listen.
this is the truth. I mean, she's a little mischievous.
He was
I
trying to
know,
help
I know I
you
was-
shred
I was
papers.
unmuted.
He was trying to help you shred papers that you didn't need, Miss Laquita.
Exactly. Help I don't need, Joyce. Oh, she is. Oh, there it is. I was looking for the mute button. Let's see.
And then I will.
I'm here. I'm here.
There.
I'm sending you the.
I think you all need to get your butts down here in person.
You and Miss Marita
Sure.
have both expressed that. Right, Facebook.
I was at the September and October meetings, and I will be hopefully April.
Maximize.
Okay. And the rest?
I'll be there soon. I was there for my committee meeting though.
Good show. Let's see. How do I do this?
Yeah. Okay, that's. There we go. Yeah. And so hit go live there.
Although we get out on time when we're here because we're school.
Yep. Right. And then you just hit go live now.
Oh, Eutha? Solomon is asking, can he be promoted to panelist?
At the same rate, okay. Feeling cheeky tonight, folks. Watch out.
Tiffany and Carolyn Ramirez also.
Yeah, I'm in the attendees promoting everyone.
We're working on it, but there's so many people that are not here in the room, it takes.
It
some
just
time.
makes more time
Yes.
because people aren't here in person. I only have one computer.
You guys accepted the panelists.
Vincent, thank you for joining us in person.
Yes.
And
so-
Sydney, you're a regular.
It's
You're
so
very
nice
welcome.
to be here.
It is lovely and
But
bright.
the room is very empty. We gotta figure
It
out how to
is.
get on in this.
And do you notice how light it is?
Yes, it is.
6:30 at night.
Yes.
It's still
It's
light.
daylight savings time, so we have more daylight.
Bright and light.
It should encourage folks to come in person even more.
Right.
I agree.
I would be there had I not had the entire ceiling cave in my kitchen and bathroom. I'm now across the pond.
I saw the pictures. Tiffany, you're excused.
Thank
My heart goes out.
you.
Well, I'm glad I'm able to be a part of the meeting, even though I'm not there. And I'm hoping that those of us who are not there, our contributions will still be welcomed.
Thank you.
Oh, Pat, right on.
Thank you for speaking up for us, Pat.
Listen, somebody has to. I don't want to feel ashamed that I'm not able to come into the meeting.
Thank
Uh,
you very much, Pat,
Next month, we'll get there in person.
baby.
Pat, that's why we love you.
Oh, and I love you too. I love you too.
Pat.
You're welcome.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Deirdre.
Good evening,
Pat.
beautiful.
Always so good to see you.
And the same here, always so great to see you as well. You
Hello,
all,
everyone.
Hi,
Every-
Deidre.
Hi. Hi, Miss Carolyn.
What you doing?
Good, hi, Miss Yurka. Hi, everyone. Hi, Tiffany.
Hi, everybody.
Deirdre. Thanks for all you do, Deirdre.
Good evening, everybody.
Thank you for all you do.
Hello, all. Hi, everyone.
Hi, good evening.
I don't see the light on the owl. Can you hear us?
Yes.
We
very
can hear
well.
you. We can
Yes.
hear
Loud and
you.
clear.
Yeah,
So
hey,
if
Chair, we can hear you.
you are an elected or a member, but you're in the attendees list, please accept your promotion. Youth and I are trying to promote everyone to panelists who should be a panelist.
You sent it to me, Barry. I accepted.
Yeah, we can hear you, Carolyn. If you weren't a panelist, or we wouldn't be able to hear you. Okay, there we go. I think we've got most of it. Oh, and you turn on the camera. There we go. That's why I thought. Okay. Good evening, folks. I think we are approaching quorum. We do not have Ted with us tonight. But I am going to quickly take a note of who was here virtually versus in person. I have Joyce here virtually, Walter Alexander virtually, Jane Arundel Johnson here virtually. I do not see Miriam yet. Deirdre is here virtually. Do not see Reverend Caldwell. Dan Cohen is on leave of absence. Juan Colmenares is here virtually. Carlton Davis is here in person. Monica Dula virtually. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the first page. Ms. Dunn is not here virtually or in person. Interesting. Victor Edwards is here in person. Sean Farrow, Hugo Torres is not here. Jenny Garcia, Lydia Garrison is here virtually. John George has been removed. John Martin Green is not here virtually yet. David Hansel is here virtually. Daria, I do not see. Monique is here virtually. Laquita, I heard virtually. I do not see Alex Hunter. Nope. Oh, here comes Nina Norwood though. To promote her. Heather Jason. I do not. Oh, yes, she is here virtually. Dr. Derek Johnson is here virtually. Jane is on here twice. Pat Watler Johnson is here virtually. Tiffany is here virtually. Ted is excused. Tina is not yet here. I just saw Reverend Caldwell jump on though.
Yes, Reverend Caldwell was here.
Aurelius Mejia is here virtually. Ilana Mercado, I do not see, but I do see that Hugo just joined us. Okay, no Ilana yet. Ken Miles, I do not see yet. Signy is here in person. Michael Palma, I do not see. Solomon, I think I skipped is here virtually. Carolina Ramirez is here virtually. Felicia Ramos is here virtually. Annette is here in person. Jonathan Sinigub is, I don't see yet. Reverend Morgan Thomas, I don't see yet. Jonathan Thomas, I don't see yet. Carolyn Thompson is here virtually. Edwin Corpez is not yet here that I can see. Liz Whitetakis is excused. Yes. Yeah. Barry Weinberg, no one wants to see that guy anyway. And Shanika is running late. Ken is here or is he excused? Oh, he's running late. Okay. All right, so by my count, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, with 1, 2, 27, 28.
Patricia Caldwell present.
Yes, I got you. We have 28 present, which is a quorum. I think our quorum may have dropped also because the borough president's office confirmed some absences. So, good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
I am calling this meeting to order at 6:42 p.m.
Is Solomon here?
Yes.
Okay.
Are there, I think folks have had a chance to go over the agenda. You just split up unless you have the W. So. Gosh, so many. But I will hold the floor open and ask, is there any, are there any amendments necessary to?
Chair Barry, this is Laquita. I'm asking to do a report on behalf of the Elections Committee
Okay.
to discuss the elections packet.
That's under section 5 after reports and before publication.
Okay.
Here we go. Are there any other necessary additions or changes to the agenda? To adopt the agenda would be in order.
So moved.
By, all those in favor?
I make a motion to adopt the, oh, I'm sorry. I said so move.
All in favor of adopting the agenda, say aye.
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 All right, the agenda is adopted.
Aye.
Minutes were included in your packet.
Can't hear you, Barry.
Okay?
Can't hear you.
The minutes were included in your packet.
Minute.
Yes, we're on the minutes.
Motion to accept.
First Vice Chair Victor Edwards has moved to accept, second by Carolyn Thompson. All those in favor of adopting the minutes, say aye.
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 Aye. Aye.
No, one of the ones that I'm most excited about is the ability to provide individual learning, great individual learning for each
I will try to keep it as brief as possible. I'm going to time myself at 6:44 to start. I am going to cover a couple of topics, and I'm actually going to walk through something that was showed to us at Borough Board this morning. But I will just note that Signe Mortensen and Patricia Ramos and some members of the Borough President's office, including Mina and the Deputy Borough President, all went on a tour of Landing Road, which is a development in the Bronx run by the Bowery Residents Committee. It is a homeless shelter and supportive housing. And so they got to do a tour. It's maybe a little smaller than what they're proposing to develop at 1727 Amsterdam Avenue. It sounds like the tour went well. However, it also sounds like BRC and HHC are now admitting that the site is owned by the city of New York and not by Health and Hospitals Corporation. And so.
Wow.
When did
Yeah.
that come about? And how?
That is city owned. It has to go through ULURP. That's what the charter says. I believe now they are saying that because it is leased to HHC, it does not have to go through ULURP. If you're tearing down a building and building a massive building on city owned property, to me, that's a ULURP. So we will continue to push that forward. We have received correspondence from Columbia University regarding Red Balloon Daycare and their intent to replace Red Balloon Daycare in 560 Riverside Drive with another nonprofit daycare provider. That is obviously not what we are hoping to see as an outcome. So we are continuing to engage them with that. Red Balloon has asked us to support them in requesting return to 560 Riverside and also funding for the interim year while it is being renovated. So we are continuing that discussion. We also received word from SBI office that the proposal to expand the Amtrak tracks to accommodate a platform on 25th Street was met kind of tepidly from Amtrak. They do not accept or cannot be allocated federal funding, they claim. So that is a conversation that continues. And then finally, I want to take a moment to dive in. The Borough President's Office did the Census Bureau today, and I'm going to share my screen. And they are going over the census data that is available now. And so I wanted to give you all a quick preview of what can be done if you go to data.census.gov. Can everyone see my screen?
Yep.
Yes.
Yeah.
So data.census.gov, if you do an advanced search, there is one abbreviation or word I want you to remember, and it is PUMA. And I'm going to tell you what PUMA means as soon as I remember. But PUMA stands for Public Use Microdata Area. So if we start from the census data homepage, we can do an advanced search. Takes us to the screen, and we can hit geography. And then if we scroll down, we scroll through all geographies, we get to Public Use Microdata Area, AKA PUMA. So we're going to go to New York because that's the state we live in. And if you scroll down, we're in Manhattan, but if you scroll down to NYC, you will see that they have all of the community districts as their own census geography, meaning our community board district. So if I click here, NYC, Manhattan Community District 9, Hamilton Heights, Manhattanville, and West Harlem, PUMA, you'll see it adds it to a filter there, and then I can look at the topics that are available. So let's say I wanted to see education, and I could go to school enrollment. And so then I would have filters on for school enrollment in CB9. Let me move my Zoom bar. And search. Oops. That out of the way. I want to search for a filter. Okay. Let me try a different topic. If I go to housing and I go to housing units, and go here. Here's the search button. Oh, it's hidden by my Zoom. If I click the blue search button, there we go. It will pull up living arrangements, housing units, etc. So if I click housing units, we can see that from the 2021 one-year estimated table, we can see the estimated number of housing units. We could see that by poverty status. We could see it by comparative housing characteristics. And so so for example, this will tell us that in 2021, there are an estimated 53,619 housing units, AKA apartments or houses in the district. And it will tell you that 78% of them are in buildings with 20 or more units, which means we have a lot of larger buildings in our district. Very few are single-family homes, less than 1%. And you will find that 2/3 of them were built in 1939 or before, and it will give you information on that. Now, if I go back to my original question and hit the search button this time, go to education, school enrollment, and type of school. And now, oops. You can see the school enrollment in our district. You can see that there are an estimated 115,000 people enrolled in school. Roll that up by sex, 57,000 male, 57,000 female. And you can see whether it's public or private, kindergarten, 1 through 4, 5 through 8, 9 through 12, college or university, etc. And so this is just essentially, if you ever are looking for things just for Community Board 9, whether that's writing a grant or whether it's feedback for our budget items, this is a very useful tool to have. You go to the CB9 Puma on data.census.gov, and that will tell you where to get your stats.
Very
Thank you, Barry.
Thank
Yeah.
you.
Chair, will you be sending that link to us or put it in the chat?
I put
Not-
something in the chat already.
I
Oh,
will,
oh, really? Okay.
public use microdata area is what PUMA stands for. I will not only send something around via email, but we will be, the borough president's office will be holding a training on this data, I think April 3rd. And also we will invite the census to come and give a workshop maybe to our board and the public about the use of this data. But this is very useful if you're a senior center and you want to know how many seniors in the area could you serve, you want to know what languages are spoken by seniors or what the biggest issues are, that's available to them. So I apologize, I know that took longer than normal, but I figured it was worth sharing to everyone tonight.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Tiffany,
That
for
was
putting
pertinent
that information in the chat.
Yes, April, okay, great. And Mina, who is here from the Borough President's Office, confirmed that it is April 3rd. So with that, I will just add one other thing, which is that we have on our agenda at the very end of the evening, executive session, which means people who are not members of Community Board 9 will have to leave the meeting, or in Zoom, you will have to either log off or be removed to a waiting room, where we'll be voting on a personnel matter. Because we will finally be back up to our staff of 3, which it's taken us a while to get there, but yes. All right, and with that, I will turn it over to Carolyn Thompson for the treasurer.
Carolyn, you're up.
Carolyn, if you are, oh, I think she fell off. I don't think she's on. Yeah. We will endeavor to get Ms. Thompson back on, but next we will go to the district manager's report.
Good evening, all. In addition to my report, I have a few highlights I'd like to share with you. Harlem Strong is seeking CBOs to join their mental health coalition. The coalition is a group of CBOs and FBOs. FBO stands for faith-based organizations and other Harlem-based associations working to promote mental health awareness and access to mental health resources for Harlem residents. The coalition member organizations can receive and support referrals for services for Harlem Strong consumers. Additionally, coalition members can receive capacity building support for mental health services in their organizations, and staff can access training to build mental health and psychoeducation support skills. The coalition is flexible and would like to have community-based organizations join their organization and can decide how deeply involved they'd like to be to express their interest in joining the coalition and to let Harlem Strong know your training needs. Please have a staff member or representative from your organization fill out the form provided at the info table at the front of the forum. We have copies of the application if anyone is interested. I will also send out an email tomorrow regarding this. Also, as part of Department of Sanitation's commitment to keeping our streets clean, NYC Department of Sanitation is implementing a new rule to reduce the time that trash, recycling, and curbside composting will sit on sidewalks. The new rule goes into effect April 1st of this year, 2023. Residential buildings have two options: place waste out after 6 p.m. in a container of 55 gallons or less with a secure lid, or place waste out after 8 p.m. if putting bags directly on the curb. To ensure collection, all waste must be set out by midnight. Businesses that place waste at the curb for collection have two options as well. If using a container with a secure lid, place waste at the curb 1 hour before closing, or if putting bags directly on the curb, place waste after 8 p.m. This does not apply to businesses that have waste collected from a loading dock. Remember, containers must be removed from the curb by the time your business reopens. Also, NYC Emergency Management Commissioner for a Day essay contest has kicked off. All New York City high school students are invited to participate in the 3rd annual NYC Emergency Management Commissioner for the Day essay contest. Entrants must submit an original essay and complete the applications. Applications are also available at the information table. The NYC Emergency Management Commissioner will select the winner, who will be invited to NYC Emergency Management Headquarters to participate in Commissioner for the Day award ceremony and then attend the 20th anniversary of the Ready New York Insert program to be hosted at Gracie Mansion. The essay contest is open to all New York City high school students enrolled in grades 9 through 12 across all 5 boroughs. Deadline for all entries must be submitted by April 1st. All entries must be emailed to readyny@oem.nyc.gov with the subject line Commissioner for the Day essay contest. I'll leave that information in the chat as well.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Summer Youth Employment Program, SYEP, is accepting applications. Applicants must be between 16 and 24 years of age. SYEP is a six-week job internship. Positions are in-person, remote, or hybrid. Applicants are scheduled to work up to 25 hours per week. Youth is paid $15 an hour, no cost to employer. The deadline for employers to apply is May 26th. I'll leave that link in the chat for the application. And the deadline for the SYEP applications is March 31st. That will also be left in the chat. Yeah, April calendar. April 5th is Passover, and the office has noted that Landmarks Preservation Parks is scheduled to meet that day. Please advise the district office. We were told that Passover starts at 6 p.m. So we would need to know so that we can make arrangements if they're going to reschedule it. And last but not least, next month's general board meeting will be held at City College at 6:30 p.m. The exact location will be forthcoming. Thank you.
Thank you, Yutha. Any questions for Yutha from district manager? Seeing none.
Maybe one, Barry, I may have missed it. But when you mentioned Department of Sanitation, oh no, that's have you heard anything from DEP? Follow up on the auto, just in that, the possible meeting.
The auto body shop has been confirmed. You
Not,
should've
oh yeah, it referenced that DEP or the meeting. You might have already mentioned it and I missed it.
You're asking if DEP is participating?
Yes, or if the meeting is set. I believe that's the one. You may have missed, like I said, you may have mentioned it and I missed it.
I didn't mention it tonight, but Madison sent out an email confirming it. It was March 22nd at the district.
Okay.
If you need me to resend it, let me know.
No, I just haven't had a chance to look further. Okay, thank you, Yusuf, for that.
And
Is the next meeting in person, Yuta?
what's the question, Juan?
Oh, I heard that the next meeting is at City College. Did you say?
In person. Tonight is in person too.
Oh, no, I mean, must we be in person? Or, because the last week I had time to make it, but this week I didn't have.
We don't know the emergency. I think that's Carol. The emergency declaration by the mayor is due to expire the 21st, which is Monday or Tuesday? Monday, I think. Tuesday. And so we will know probably Monday or Tuesday whether or not we must return to a full hybrid format or, we can still meet virtually for some things. But May, it is becoming very clear, it may end next week, but it will definitely be over sometime in May is what it's looking like in terms of our ability to meet virtually and not achieve a quorum in person or to have committee meetings, all virtual. So heads up, we are returning to our mostly in-person style. We will maintain a hybrid format for folks who cannot make it in person, but you will have to pre-clear that with the board. You cannot, just kind of show up virtually and because then we suspect that we will fail to achieve an in-person quorum. So if you are going to attempt to join remotely, you must let the board know. And if it's a committee, you must let the committee co-chairs know. And you must request permission to do so because they're going to have to achieve quorum. Yes.
So if you do not let the board know and you show up virtually, you are not counted towards attendance? You're absent, right?
Yes.
Thank you. So it's important to come.
It's important to come, yes. Yes, Carolyn.
I'm on the phone.
Yes, we got you. Would you, two things. If you're listening on your phone, it sounds like you have your speakers on from your computer in the background. You may want to turn them off. And if that's not the case, ignore me. But then the second thing is we did call for the treasurer's report.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
The treasurer's report has not changed. It's still the same. But if there are any committees that are planning on proposing any kind of grants, they would need to notify the board.
In other words, if committees are requesting to use discretionary funding for any upcoming events, it's imperative that you submit your request to the district office ASAP, or do you want to give it that long?
No, I mean, by April 15th.
April 15th will be the deadline for all submissions.
Speaking of deadlines, many of you who are on board and presumably planning to reapply have not done so.
Yes.
Please, please, please reapply, preferably by end of day tomorrow.
5 p.m. tomorrow is the deadline.
Thank you, Yuta. I got something in my throat.
Wait, all right, could you repeat that?
You sent out a list, did you not?
Yes.
A list was sent out by
To everyone that's up for reappointment. If you didn't receive an email from me, or Mina from the Borough President's Office, then you are not up for reappointment.
But if you are up for reappointment, please reapply, assuming you are planning to do so.
So just to clarify, if you just joined the board and this is your first year, that means you're not up for reappointment, correct?
It is unfortunately slightly more complicated than that because it depends if you filled a midway vacancy or not. If you give me half a tick, I can tell you. Who asked that, by the way? Was that?
I have a question. Carolina.
I have a question about the budget. What's the max a committee or task force can ask for?
There's not a hard limit, but like $2,000 would be max-ish. We can also have a conversation. You don't have to like throw something over the wall. Just give us a call and we can figure out what you need and work with you.
Perfect, thank you.
Okay, so.
Chair, there's a question in the question box. Do you see it?
Yes, so public member application is not the same as a community board application. A public member application is to join a specific committee as a public member. And what happens is you then can vote on matters in that committee, but you do not vote at the general board meetings. Have we moved that form online? I don't think we have. We should post it on the board. But if you reach out to the committee that you're joining as a public member, the co-chairs of that committee can get you started on that process. Yes, Signe?
Can I just note that the Housing Committee has some wonderful public members that have made a whole protocol sheet, procedures and protocols. If any other co-chairs would like those protocols and want us to send a little packet of how we do our public members, which has worked very, very well, and we have very active public members, let me know and I'll send you our procedures.
Can
you send it to you?
Can you send it to me, Sydney?
Yes, yes, I will.
All right.
You don't send it to you, folks, you can send it out to everyone. How about that?
Email confirmation if your application was submitted to answer Dr. Jonathan's question. All right, so with that, we will move along to the West Harlem Development Corp report.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Since our last report, the annual board meeting took place on February 25th, and it was at the Harlem School for the Arts. And so there were a lot of issues discussed, some of which are identified here. The community block grants the community based grants for 2022. The initial grant payments were awarded, and grantees have been advised that they have to meet the remaining requirements to get the second portion of the award, including meeting with the respective CB9 committees. The remaining grants are expected to be issued in March or April, and the grant funding application cycle is scheduled to be announced in June. There's an annual report, which we're now calling the annual, the year in review has been drafted, and it should be posted on the website, the WHD website, hopefully by the spring, so that everyone can see what the reviews were. There were executive board elections. Judge Tingling is the chair, Armand Adams vice chair, Darlene Bruce is the secretary, and Greg Watson is the treasurer. For the summer youth programs, it was stated previously that WHDC would work with CB9 to get more funding available from DYCD. So I don't know if any meetings or anything took place, but I just wanted to mention that because I know I mentioned it in previous reports before. The Boys and Girls Club has submitted a proposal to administer 150 youth slots at A. Philip Randolph High School. As soon as there's more information available, we'll definitely report on that. The senior and older adults initiatives are still ongoing. There was an event that took place on March 2nd, and which was sponsored by WHTC for senior the CD9 area senior organizations to see the hit musical Mama I Wanna Sing in honor of their 40th anniversary. I was among the people there. It was a resounding success, and Ms. Vi Higginson had publicly acknowledged and thanked WHTC as well as Mr. William Hamer from Harlem Advocates for Seniors for their support and of this musical. There is, let me see. Okay, I already said that in the last report. Hi, Reverend Morgan Thomas.
Hi, Patricia.
And so the Riverside
Okay,
Park
that's
Conservancy is going to offer scholarships for summer camp. The application deadline is April 10th at 5 o'clock. If you have any questions, contact WHTC directly. And if you have any other questions about any of the programs, please visit the website at westharlemdc.org. Are there any questions?
For Pat, if you do, please use the raise hand function in Zoom. Or raise your hand if you're in person. I don't see any, Pat.
Okay, thank you very much. Victor, do you have a question?
I do. Just a question for clarification. Is there someone at West Harlem Development Corp that monitors the CBA? I haven't gotten an answer to that question thus far.
Okay, I thought that's a question I would have asked you, honestly, because I know that you were kind enough to report to us that you and Ziad Ramadan had met. You had a meeting on March 8th. And so I guess I would have to ask you, was there discussion about who has been designated yet, or?
There was not.
Okay.
In your meetings, is that a topic that someone discusses there?
Uh-huh.
In your meetings at West Harlem Development Corp, is that a topic that someone covers as far as monitoring what goes on in the CBA?
That I don't know. I don't know. It's a question you'd like me to ask. I can ask that and report back if you'd like.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you. Are there any other questions?
Ms. Dunn is.
Trying to tell you, in the beginning, the director of the development was the one who checked on the monies that Columbia sent to the benefit agreement. It was understood. Now, when the new, I forget this gentleman that's now in charge of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be his responsibility to check on that money, the way it was set up in the beginning.
Okay, Ms. Dunn, I apologize. I couldn't hear exactly what you were saying. Could someone repeat that for me, please? I apologize in advance.
Saying that when the LDC was set up, it was to monitor the agreement and follow that it is Ziad's responsibility is what she stated. Yes.
Okay.
That's a question I can ask. So is the question when the CBA was written, it was supposed to be WHDC's responsibility? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, certain parts of, and we can follow up with conversation with Pat.
They would check that money.
We can follow up more with the conversation with Pat and with Reverend Morgan Thomas on this.
Okay, thank you. I'm really sorry. I really can't hear very well what's being said. So thank you.
Yeah, Juan, Paris, you have your hand up.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hi, yeah. You mentioned that an organization is giving more spots for some of you to Randolph. Is that in addition to the ones we have, or is that going to be part of what the allocation that Randolph is already getting?
No, my understanding is that there was a proposal submitted for 150 slots. So that's my understanding, that is the amount of slots that's going to be held. There have been discussions between CB9 and about wanting to get more funding from DYCD. So my understanding was that there would be, that WHDC would help to partner with CB9 to help achieve that, to get more. But in terms of the slots that are available, it's 150 slots that are available.
Great, thank you for the information.
Oh, thank you. Thank you for the question.
don't think there's stuff, so we will move on to Reverend Morgan Thomas with the report from UMass.
Good evening, all. UMass will meet week after next. There have been no remarkable events or information since I reported last month. We're still working to bring the Perscolas training to the community, though there hasn't been anything put out yet. So as soon as that information is available, we will receive it. I'll make sure that it is given to Yuka and the office, so it's available to all of our community.
Thank you. The Yutha, did the bid report go out? I don't see Ken Lyles on the line.
Yes, it is.
Okay, the bid report was sent out on your packet. And the summary is that there was a back and forth between the bid and the electeds and the governor's office to stop the dispensary that is cited across the street from the Apollo. But that's the gist of the report. It's in your packet. So now I will ask Mina from the Borough President's office if she would like to give the report for the Borough President. Oh.
Hi. Sorry. Good evening, Community Board 9. I won't say anything because the Deputy Board President should be joining us around 7:45-ish. But Community Board applications. That's what I'll keep saying. So please spread the word. To make sure your friends and neighbors fill it out so you get more representation. Yeah.
Heather, you have your hand up.
Yeah, hi, Mina. A quick question. I was reviewing the application and it appears to be quite different from a couple of years ago. I was looking for an actual essay question and it does not appear to be one. Am I missing something?
I thought that was the case as well. I would say try it again. Let me know if you're having an issue. But when you click either new applicant or reapplicant, the essay question, that's what triggers the essay question. So you have to click that to complete it.
Yeah, I did that and I just didn't see an actual essay
question. Did you
question.
do it on your phone or did you do it?
No, on my computer.
Heather, there are two long form text questions. One I think asks you to talk about if you're reapplying what you've done on the board, and the other asks you what they think the biggest needs or concerns are in the community, or the two
it's
biggest.
Similar to last year.
Yeah.
But we do the added part is just the 1 to 5, like in terms when residential development comes up, in the community.
Yeah, I saw that and that shows an optional reply, but I was just looking for the other question that basically, informs what one has done on the board. I did not see that question.
I didn't see that. I didn't, Mina, it's Monica. Yes. I didn't see the essay or that question either. So, and I was doing it on my desktop.
Okay.
I did too.
So I can call both of you tomorrow or call me tomorrow, whichever.
Okay.
And then we can go over it. If not, worst case scenario, just send everything to me and then we'll just input it internally.
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you,
Nina. Thanks, guys. Thank you.
All right, we will return to the Borough President's report when the Deputy Borough President arrives, but otherwise that concludes section 4, reports. We will move on to section 5, which is the Elections and Nominating Committee, which will be given by Laquita Henry, who is the chair.
Thank you, Chair. The Election Committee had its second meeting this past Monday. I just want to remind everyone that the members of the Elections Committee, Tiffany Kahn, who is co-chair, Tina Lumley, Annette Robinson, Ken Miles, and we were fortunate to have Ted Kovalev join us to share his wisdom at the meeting as well. I think I named everyone. What I'll go through tonight with our March 16th general meeting, we had promised to include, and you have in your packet, the procedures and steps for candidates to run. We are very thankful for the notes and documentation that Signe and her committee in 2021 kept, and I just went through with our committee and we just made the revisions. But you have the brief procedures and steps for candidates to run. There's the intent to run form. There are the bylaws, which includes Articles 3 and 4 pertaining to the elections and responsibilities of each position. And there is a suggested timeline. The suggested timeline is what I'll just start with now. I already stated what is part of the March 16 meeting, and we'll just go over some procedures and steps for candidates to run. But let me add that on March 20th, the election committee will meet again in a special meeting to finalize the survey questions that we thought went really well last time, questions that we'll ask of board members in the hopes of discerning concerns they have about being able to hold office, and also to give response to what they feel about being an officer of the board and the responsibilities. And we will report those findings at the April 20th meeting. The survey we hope to send out, we plan to send out March 20th. And so just look for it in your email. We also intend to request of current and former officers testimonials and experiences that they've had while holding office that could be encouraging and provide incentives as we have those persons who are considering running. We have now 45 members of the board. There's a capacity for 50, but we're working with 45. Our officers, of course, chair, and the positions, let me just go through it as positions. The position of chair will be open for those interested in intent to run. The first vice chair position will be open as well, not totally open. The current first vice chair has served one full term as first vice chair. The second vice chair is capable, has, what's the word? Anyway, that position is open to run, though the current second vice chair is also available for a second term. The secretarial position, now held by Ted, will be vacated, and that position is open. The assistant secretary, that term is being completed by Solomon Profet, and that position will be totally open. And the positions of treasurer and assistant treasurer will be open as well. So we've always had terrific officers, and we are encouraging all those who feel that they really want to contribute more to consider the intent to run. And the term for each office is no more than 2 terms. 1 term is 2 years. And so any position that has already been held by any one person for 1 term, 2 years, certainly if there's someone interested in running, they can also run for that position, and the person currently holding that 1-term position can run again. Are there any questions so far on that? the intent to,
I was asking if anyone had questions for you, Rita, but keep going.
Okay, so the intent to run form is included in the packet. And that's very important for us to just go through briefly. With the, let me go to my, pulled up the wrong document. Okay, yes. Okay, so, oh, I'm sorry, Carolyn.
I said, in what packet is that intent to run form in?
It's part of the emails that, reminder email that went out this afternoon that Youth has sent. And it's labeled intent to run.
I didn't see it.
Okay,
Carolyn, look through the attachments in the reminder email. Is there?
Will do.
Also in that packet will be the names of the committee and the email addresses. We have our community board list with telephone numbers. Feel free to call me or the committee members if there are any questions. If there's something you haven't received, of course, you can call Eutha and Madison at the office as well for forwarding any materials. But in terms going back to the intent to run form, and I'll just read here, it includes, you must include the names of at least 7 other current board members who support your candidacy, and a written statement is requested not exceeding 250 words that set forth your background and qualifications for the relevant board office. There is another document included that gives a brief description of each of the offices, as well as those descriptions are found in the bylaws, the Community Board 9 bylaws. And that's also included in that packet as well as you can go on the Community Board website as well to see Articles 3 and Article 4 of the bylaws that pertain to the elections process and the officers. Now, we have here an online submission of the intent to run form. I believe that will still hold. However, we'll just see what the rules are in terms of hybrid. I don't think that should matter in terms of the intent to run form. But we will need the forms no later than May 15th. So you have a lot of time to think about and read up on the responsibilities of the offices, what you think your qualifications and skills are to hold office, and if you want to go for it. The PDF forms must be submitted to both the chair of the elections committee and to Eutha Prince, our district manager. The election committee members cannot sign your intent to run form. Okay, so you have to find one other among the 45 current board members to ask. The election committee, of course, will meet to confirm receipt of the completed intent to run form. You can always call if there's any question or if you want to confirm if we did receive it. But a reminder will be sent out to all candidates as well, and must confirm their 7 supporters will be present at that May 18th board meeting, which will also be nominations night. So if needed, if there is an office that is not filled or where there is no candidate, we can also ask for nominations from the floor. And that has happened a number of times. So someone can be nominated to run and get the verbal support from 7 other members, and within actually 7 days after that, the intent to run forms with the signed supporters, 7 supporters must be submitted. Now, on one of our sheets, we probably have to change what we did state was May 30th as the deadline for that intent to run. That's really more than the 7 days. But I believe that came up because of the holiday and, you know, just giving more people more time. But if actually 7 days after the May 18th meeting will be May 27th. So we'll probably have to change that to May 25th, I'm sorry, instead of May 30th. But we'll send out a correction on that. Nominations from the floor will also be accepted. Well, we already mentioned that all nominations must get 7 verbally board members to support the nomination. And I think that's pretty much it. The prior to the voting meeting, there's candidates night. And we have really possible 3 dates, but really 2 that are may work better. May 31st and June 12th. And May 31st because of the Memorial Day holiday, and then allowing people time to get their intent to run form back if they have been nominated from the floor on May 18th.
Laquita, you have a question in the chat, which is, do we allow so-called drop-down running where you can run for more than one position? So let's say if I were interested in running for secretary, but I also know there's a strong candidate for secretary, I might put my name in for secretary, but then also put it in for assistant secretary in the event that I don't get secretary. Do we do that?
I don't remember that happening. I'm not sure if it's allowed or not. I don't remember that happening. Signe, do you?
I don't remember that specific occurrence since I've been doing it, but I think what we've done before is they rescind their nomination and put themselves in the hat for a new nomination on the night of.
Right. I think one is a good question, but one nominee per position. But then I do recall what has happened in the past is that once, say a person does not win one position, then we had to do, or maybe there was a tie, then that person put their name in the hat for that second position.
But it's never been done.
You should
But
clarify.
it hasn't
Maybe-
been done, but we'll investigate that. We'll
Yeah,
investigate.
I'm going to
I'm
refer
sorry.
that to the committee for further consideration at the 20th meeting. You have another question from Carlton Davis?
Yes, those kind of rules apply in New York City Housing Authority Resident Association bylaws.
Got it. So those,
Can you
I should hear that Mr. Davis said that those type of rules are allowed in the New York City Housing Authority Residents Association bylaws. So
It would be
exists.
something that we would have to amend the bylaws to add that.
Or if we don't have it amended, we need to figure out kind of a game plan in terms of how they would handle it if it occurred, meaning, you know, let's say that somebody wins and then someone else drops out. How do we handle a vacancy? Can you nominate from the floor? How do we usually do that? But all of these are good things.
That's terrific. And I do have a call or meeting set up with Mina with the Manhattan Borough President's Office too. Hopefully she'll meet with the Elections Committee maybe this Monday and help sort out a few things as it relates to the election also.
And just for people's clarification, the vote for these elections is the 3rd Thursday in June, which is June 15th.
Yes, and we have that, let's see, June 15th is voting night. Now, and there's time for, in April, we'll provide an update as it relates to how we vote as well. But let me go to the other timeline. the suggested timeline. Okay, whoops. There we have it. Okay, so we will provide more information for the April 20th meeting. Where we, on March 20th, we'll be meeting to finalize the survey questions. I mean, that was really terrific. We will be calling some board members if we haven't heard from you, but when we submit the survey via email, we really want you to respond. It's really important. And as we give the results of that survey, I think as it did last time, it really was insightful for a number of people who thought about running. Depending on how we do the voting, we might have a trial run election at the April meeting, but we'll certainly do it inside the elections committee. And if there's any amendment that must take place, it seems as if we have to do it at the April meeting. I believe there's something about 30 days in advance or something like that for certain amendments to the bylaws as it relates to voting. If I remember correctly, there's a timetable on that.
You have a question, Laquita, from Signy.
So when we amended the bylaws last time, I think we amended them until such time, what was it? Was it when the emergency declaration was over, or
right?
Was it be declared?
So
I'm trying to remember.
I will tell you in half a
Yeah, we
moment.
did. So I think it would have to be done again because I believe we just had a timetable on it.
Right, so it's still it's active until the emergency order probably, so yeah.
I know, I got it.
So by
correct.
the March 20th, we'll know, and we may have, that's why we left that to be determined.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Got it.
So we have that part to be determined. So, you know, there'll be enough time in April. And we may be able to send an email out if we know something prior to, but you know, Barry, we'll be in touch with you on that timeline as well. And then of course with the Manhattan Borough President.
Great.
I believe for now, those are the key things that need to be stated as it relates to the election of officers. And the main thing is just to really read and see what is required. Hopefully we'll be able to give you wonderful testimonials, and perhaps there'll be from those who have held office before, some testimonials that we'll hear verbally. If we could tape it to control the time, we'll try to do that as well and have a nice presentation. Any other question?
Seeing none, thank you, Laquita, for the Elections Committee report. We will now move on to section 6, public session, public hearings. We will begin with public session, and I will turn it over to the Vice Chair, Victor Edwards, for public session.
yes, good evening all. Just a reminder, your comments are limited to 3 minutes. I will let you know when you have 1 minute remaining. And then we'll go forward. Thank you. First person signed up this evening is Deidre McIntosh Brown to speak. Deidre?
Deirdre?
Hi, good evening. I'm here. I was having some technical difficulties. Thank you, Chair and Victor. I just wanted to bring attention that in our past meeting, the Youth and Education and Libraries meeting this past Tuesday, DYCD was one of our presenters, Sarah Marks and Sarah Whitney and Mr. Betancourt. And one of the things we were talking about was the Summer Youth SYEP program. Last year, we did not get as many slots as we desired or requested in Community Board 9. And what was presented to us this past Tuesday was the reason why we didn't have enough slots was that there weren't enough businesses participating. So we need more employers. We need more employers. We need more businesses to sign up. There's such great benefit, not just to our youth, but to the businesses themselves, right? There's no cost to them. The city takes care of that cost. They can share their business with our youth, which giving them additional career pathways. So the youth benefit, the community benefits, as well as the employers. So on the DYCD site, we're asking and requesting that any businesses within our community, if you will just sign up, that be hospitals, nonprofits, small businesses, you can take as many as 1, 2 students. That will be so much more beneficial. And the applications are open to hire up until May 26th. May 26th. I'll drop the information later in the chat. I'm trying to transfer from my phone to my computer. But I just wanted to say it's really, really imperative that more businesses step up so that we can have more youth employed for the summer. We see everything that's happening within our community. There's shootings, we need to just step up and give opportunities to our youth. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Deirdre.
Thank you. Next person signed up, Sydney Mortensen.
Yes, here in person. Hello. I am wearing my hat for my block association. You all have heard me for 11 years now tell you about our annual plant sale. Yes, 11 years. And our plant sale goes on every year. You can get your vegetables, herbs, flowers for your stoops, your backyards, your windows, wherever you would like to see some vegetation and beautify your part of our neighborhood. So you can order now online and they will be ready for pickup on May 6th at the garden on 150th Street near Amsterdam. It's the Lucille McClary Wicked Friendship Garden. You can pick those up on Saturday, May 6th. And if you want to order now, you can go to tinyurl.com/150 plant sale. I will put that in the chat, and there are flyers in person for anybody who wants to beautify their block. Tree beds too, great place for flowers in your tree beds. Beautify your block. Oh, and then just very quickly, Team Up to Clean Up. We had our first meeting. We are now planning our strategy for this year. Team Up to Clean Up is happening.
Question.
Yes.
Can we get a flyer so we can get to you for the send out?
I've got some extras up there at the table. I've got extras here, so feel free.
This is Monica. I had a question for Deidre.
Oh,
I had my hand raised. Nobody called me. So
Hi, Monica.
Hi, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. Have we reached out to the 2 largest employers in this district? My guess is Columbia and Mount Sinai West, and maybe City College, that might be third. Have we made any effort to kind of push Columbia, Mount Sinai, and City College into hiring our youth? Because the problem is, drug dealers and gangs always have something for them to do.
So we're actually doing that now. We did hear from DYCD that Columbia is actually hiring. I mean, they're hiring, but Victor, Shanique, and I, we're working on pushing out City College and all the other organizations, especially Mount Sinai, those within the communities. So we're doing that as we speak.
Okay, great. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Let me just add to that, Monica. Thank you for that. And if anyone else has suggestions for employers, whether it be hospitals, houses of worship, please send them to our Youth Education and Libraries Committee, and we will take it from there. We're looking to do a webinar to inform people what this program is about and get more people listed. So if anyone has ideas with employers that will hire, please let them know.
All right, thank you. Thank you, Victor.
Yes, thank you, Victor.
And that wraps up public session for this evening.
I see Edwin.
Hi, Victor. I was just going to add that perhaps we can explore also the tech companies that we have in the city, given that remote work is a new reality, and maybe our youth, they don't have to attend their campuses as often, and we can train them for the new reality that we will be living in, which is, a hybrid type of work and perhaps even 100% remote.
That's actually true. That's actually true, Edwin. DYCD did tell us that there's remote work, hybrid work, as well as in-person work. So thank you.
So Edwin, if you have any suggestions for those 10 tech companies, please forward them to our YEL committee so we can follow up. Then great suggestion though.
Oh, that's a legacy hand. Tiffany, did you?
Yeah, just I found out that there's something called the burial assistance for families who've lost relatives during COVID-19. This, however, is only available for, I believe it's a period of either 60 or I think it's 120 days. But when loved ones are grieving the loss of a relative, they may not think to apply for that burial assistance within that time frame. So I feel like it's probably something that would come at a greater hardship for someone. So I was just wondering if we could, I suppose, speak to or collaborate with, I think I forgot the city government agency that handles that, but I just thought that a lot of people in this community would rely, or I don't know, need that sort of service, but it would be, I don't think that they should be limited to such a short time frame, especially since, throughout the pandemic, there were different waves and different variations. So yeah, just putting that out there.
Can you send us an email if you look up the agency, what that is, so that we can distribute?
Sure.
Tina, I see you have your hand up.
Barry, I think that was federal money, so you might want to reach out to Aspire.
We have Nina Norwood on, so we will do that.
Yes, I think that's federal money.
Yes. Hello, Barry. I'm here. I'm sorry. I was listening. I was trying to listen. Can you say that part again? I missed that last part. I'm sorry.
It's about the federal burial assistance for people who've passed away during the COVID pandemic. But someone's got a hand up and I don't know where it is.
Yeah, I found it. It is a city government agency, and I put the link in the chat.
Oh, okay, never mind. It may be federal money administered through HRA, but we
yes. So I'm sorry, Barry, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but I think we can close out public session. Ernestine.
Yes, if I may really quickly, Barry, before you do, I'm sorry. I just didn't want to interrupt you.
Go ahead.
Okay, so yes, I did want to speak to that last part about the federal piece for the burial assistance for those COVID-19 victims. So yes, the congressman has been engaged in that as well. So I just wanted to make sure that the board was aware that the congressman has been engaged in that conversation.
Thank you. Ernestine.
Hello, good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh,
Good
okay,
evening.
Good evening, everyone. What I thought of as I was listening to Dietra, hello, everyone. The New York City Board of Elections. There's a lot of opportunity, not just working the polls, but marketing. I understand that there's needed over 4,000 poll workers. There's training. There's the office work that kind of leads into outreach in our communities that is not campaign targeted, but just overall elections and the process in our communities. And that could be a wonderful opportunity to register 17-year-olds, to speak to the value of voting, not campaigning, just the overall structure. I would like to volunteer any way that I can to access and to be helpful in that opportunity, which leads us into a balanced future. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ernestine. Thank you so much.
And it's good to have you tonight. All right. So I think we will now move on to electeds. I think the first person that I saw, and yes, Walter, you have your hand up?
Quick question, since you said the census is coming to speak to us, would they be interested in hiring summer youth?
I don't know, but I have added it to the list that I've got written down here.
Okay.
Thank you, Walter.
Mhm.
Francesco from Councilmember Abreu's office, I believe, was here first, followed by Stacy Marius from Assemblywoman Dickens' office.
Hello, everyone. Happy to be here. Just want to provide some updates on behalf of Councilmember Abreu and also some constituent casework highlights. So I'll start off with scaffolding. Sean stood alongside Borough President Mark Levine and Majority Leader Keith Powers as they've rolled out a legislative package to get old rotting and unnecessary scaffolding down in a more timely manner. We know that's a pressing issue in our district. Sean is looking to enact legislation that would create an accelerator program for building compliance that is akin to that of Local Law 97. It would assist building owners looking to navigate the details of the law, avoiding fines, and importantly, get facade inspections done quickly and efficiently for the benefit of all New Yorkers. E-bikes, another big pressing issues. We know that they're ubiquitous in New York City. But malfunctioning lithium batteries have caused explosions, fires, and preventable deaths. Recently, there was a 5-alarm fire in the Bronx because of a faulty e-bike explosion. There was also another fire a little bit more up in the uptown section of our district where we helped house a family of 6. And Sean is proud to have co-sponsored legislation that recently passed the council, which makes it illegal for stores to sell those uncertified lithium-ion batteries. Women in the Business Roundtable. Sean will be joining Councilmember Julie Menon tomorrow for the State of New York Women in Business Roundtable at Columbia University. He'll be honoring female entrepreneurs and business leaders from the district and discussing the challenges and solutions that we face in the aftermath of the pandemic. And next week, Sean will be rallying to fund public defenders and civil service legal providers, which is a critical budget fight of his. He'll also be at PS 145 speaking against the war in Ukraine and welcoming displaced peoples from around the world. And I'll be breaking ground as a new member of the Housing and Buildings Committee. And as the Director of Constituent Services, I want to highlight that constituent casework continues to win. We've seen folks who've gone as far as being evicted, reacquiring their leases again, getting back to their homes. We've seen a lot of folks that are unaware or lost and seeking guidance, and they come to our office to seek those services. We've been developing stronger and stronger connection and a more efficient system to connect folks to resources and developing networks that really get folks to the right places. So I'm excited to continue being a well-oiled machine, forming a more cohesive team, and collaborating with our other elected officials, and we're grateful to also work with Congressman Espaillat with federal issues. So thank you for the time, and also feel free to call me and email me. I'll provide that information in the chat to address particular issues or highlight certain issues that you feel isn't being communicated or being highlighted.
I have a question. It's Monica.
Go ahead, Monica.
Apparently there was an article in the Gothamist that New York State has millions of dollars left in housing vouchers that are unspent. Is the councilman working with the state representatives to get that money out into the community to prevent these evictions?
I'm actually unaware of what he's doing regarding that funding. I wasn't aware of that myself, but was that Monica?
Yes.
Yeah, Monica, I'll certainly follow up with the council member and our legislative team. And
what's your email? I'll send you the article.
Yeah, that'd be great. I'll put it in the chat right now. Give me a quick second. But
No
please reach out to me and we'll communicate.
Okay, great.
Yeah. Question. All right. You have a question?
Yes.
Victor Edwards.
Good evening, Mr. Martinez. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Thank you, Victor.
Good, good. Question. I sent a neighbor recently up to the office
Hmm.
and they reported back that they didn't know if the office was closed or open. He said there's the front of the office is covered, so it's not very inviting. There's an older person. And so do they have to make an appointment to see one, or do you take walk-ins?
So when folks come to our office is open Monday through Friday. I'm not sure when they arrive, potentially post 5, but the office is open always. When folks come in, depending on the severity of the issue, we can take them instantly. But you know, because we have folks scheduled, we tend to schedule appointments a business day or two after. But please have that constituent reach out to me directly, and we'll get to work right away.
Okay, along that as well, as I passed the office probably a few days ago, I noticed that the front side on Amsterdam is covered. Is there a reason for that?
It's covered? How do you mean? As in,
you can't see into the office. It's not very inviting to the public.
No, it's true, it's true.
That was a comment that I got from the neighbors.
I do know that the front door has a reflective mirror, but there is a window right next to the door that allows folks to see inside the office. And we've also have signs kind of redirecting folks to the other entrance so that they can go in through our check-in area.
Okay, I'll pass that along. Thank you.
Thank you. Juan, is it a question? Juan?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening. My name is Juan Colmenares. I have lived in 149th and Convent since 1993. Our landlord, Jack Atias, he bought the building in 2000. And ever since then, we have requested repeatedly for him to work on the facade. He refuses to do it. There are cracks all over the facade. I'm gonna write his name on the chat so that you follow up, because I will be calling you and asking you questions about this. Very briefly, on 147th in St. Nicholas, there was a small building that the facade fell out, and it caused a huge tumult in that area. He refuses. It's 2 decades of requesting him every year for him to work on it. He is in a program where he has 4 months to fix the building, and he drags his feet, and he always gets away with it. How can a person who doesn't care about Harlem have a building in Harlem? I have talked to a lot of people, and nobody seems to get this man to work on this
We're
building.
losing you. I can't hear everything.
You're cutting out a little bit, Juan, but I think we got the gist of the question about
Juan,
the building.
we're losing you. I heard.
I hear her.
Yeah. Juan.
Yeah, Juan, I hear you. I hear you. And I'm also seeing Edwin Torres highlighting that that folks tend to lean more towards the fine instead of addressing the actual issue. So we are aware of this issue, and we typically work with HPD to enforce these violations. I personally try, and my team try to directly contact landlords, and then we follow up with HPD. We also write letters of support. It's really about reaching out to these folks and sort of holding them accountable, speaking to the council member, and sort of highlighting some of these cases so we can get to the root of the issue. As the constituent services team, we've had landlords directly address concerns by simply reaching out or writing letters.
Yep. All right. Well, I'm going to ask that Francesco follow up with Juan directly and vice versa.
Please reach out to me, Juan.
In the chat.
And
Nina?
also, Juan, also reach out to, because I wanted to know, because I know I sent DOB to the building, so I wanted to know what came of that.
Usually someone they're much more afraid. Is the deputy borough president with us? I do not see her, but she's on under her own name. Or
Nina is gonna alert us.
okay, got it. I didn't know if that was.
I'll reach out though. I'll find out.
Got it. No rush. Okay, we're gonna keep trying to keep this moving a little bit more. Stacy Marius from Assemblywoman Dickens' office. But thank you, Francesco, for your report and all of your answers. we lose her? I have lost her. We'll come back. Miriam from Assemblymember O'Donnell's office, I think, was here, or someone from Assemblymember O'Donnell's office was here. I think it was Miriam.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I have a few updates for you all. I first want to thank everyone who stopped by our office for the book drive. It was a success. We collected, in collaboration with Project Cicero, there were over 150,000 books collected, and thousands of teachers stopped by to collect those books for their classroom. So I'm very thankful. Thank you again to everyone who stopped by to donate the books. I want to share another event. We are hosting our first shredding event of this year. Our shredding event will happen on April 1st from 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. at 113th and Broadway. If you would like to RSVP, it's optional. You can give us a call. I will also be providing that link in the chat if you would like to RSVP. So those are the two events that I just wanted to share. In terms of community updates, I have two important updates to share. The first is Red Balloon. We continue to support Red Balloon, and we continue to advocate on their behalf to Columbia to request that Red Balloon stay at 560 Riverside Drive. I attended the rally I think a week ago with Red Balloon, and we attempted to deliver petitions over to the Columbia representatives, which were not welcomed. But I still encourage everyone to voice your support for Red Balloon. It is a much needed, very valuable childcare center. The other thing is we had a meeting with Columbia and the MTA yesterday. Elected offices, we had representatives from Congressman Espaillat's office, as well as Councilman Abreu's office. We had the Morningside Heights Community Coalition, and we had Ms. Patricia Waller-Johnson also attending, I believe on behalf of MCB9. We had a lot of great discussions yesterday. I do want to share just one update, which is that Columbia is currently onboarding their consulting company. They're finalizing the contract as we speak, but the MTA is believes that these are positive updates, and so we will see what's to come. But I just wanted to let everyone know that this is still in progress, and it's not forgotten. So I did just want to share that. In terms of legislative updates, you might have heard the One House budget was proposed. This is the Assembly's version of the budget, which includes a few things that I will just highlight very quickly. The foundation aid formula, which is phasing out and very much needed for for equitable education for our students. So the foundation aid formula the new proposal will allocate more funding and hopefully provide an equitable education for our students. This proposal also includes protection for our local healthcare providers. There have been proposals to eliminate the program 340B, which helps fund the local health centers. So the proposal actually rejects this proposal, the one that will eliminate 340B, and will continue to provide funding for our local health centers. There are also dedicated taxes for the MTA included in this proposal. The proposal includes an extension of corporate tax rates, which will be a slight increase on the high income earners to address the shortfall that the MTA is currently experiencing. The Assembly member continues to support good cause eviction, which will provide additional protection for our tenants. This will deter senseless evictions that landlords currently use. The Assembly member also continues to support DASA, which is the Dignity for All Students Act. This is Bill A5318. This is specifically geared towards protecting students and establishes a suicide prevention act. And in terms of arts funding, you may or may have not heard that the governor's proposal does not meet what the Assembly member thinks should be allocated towards arts funding. The arts is very important towards growth, community growth, cultural growth. It's an economic driver. So the Assembly member continues to advocate for a much larger proposal for arts funding. But these are my updates.
Thank you very much. It's much appreciated. Pat, I see your hand up. Is that a question or a comment?
A comment. Hi, Marion. Good to see you again. I'm hoping, Barry, that I can give a brief update on the meeting yesterday. Not now, but probably I figured during old business or wherever you had decided. But I just wanted to say to Marion, thank you, and thank your office, Assemblyman O'Donnell's office, for the role that you played in helping to get this meeting together. Your office has been crucial. So has the office of Councilman Sean Abreu, as well as the office of Congressman Espaillat. I just wanted to let you all know that how much your support is appreciated to help keep this topic going on, to make sure that the elevator stays on the radar. So I wanted to thank you and Assemblyman O'Donnell, on your office on behalf, just to say thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And is there any word on the potential J51 tax abatement replacement? I know we sent the resolution from your office.
Sorry, no. I don't have any updates, unfortunately.
Got it. Okay. Any other questions for Assemblyman O'Donnell's office? It's April 1st from 1 to 3 p.m. is your shredding event?
From 12 p.m. to 3 p.m. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Seeing no further questions, thank you very much, Marion. It is appreciated. And I think we have someone on from Council Member Richardson Jordan's office. And then next up on deck will be Nina Norwood, followed by, I thought we had someone from Senator Claire's office, but I don't see him anymore. Anyway, do we have anyone from Councilmember Richardson Jordan's office?
Yes, that's me.
Hi, how are you?
Good, how are you? I'm Somali. I was here last month, but I am a part of the constituent services team for Councilwoman Kristen Richardson Jordan. I just want to give an event update as well as a constituent services update. We have a couple of events in our Women's History Month series. There are Saturday events that center women's experiences, as well as education on sort of gender identity and sort of all the parts of being in, I don't want to say all the parts of being a woman because they're open to anybody of all gender identities, but they center women's experiences as well as health, wellness, and information about being a woman. So we're having an intentional movement event with Moho Dance, a Black-owned business in Harlem that centers mental health and dance as a form of expression. And then on Saturday, March 23rd, we're having a health screening and lessons in nutrition with Harlem Grown. That's tentative. We haven't heard back from them yet, but hopefully they are there. That is also Saturday. Both events are taking place in our main office on 163 Malcolm X Boulevard between 118th and 119th. So we hope to see you there. As for a constituent services update, we have had an influx of reports about unregulated cannabis businesses. I know it's kind of been a hot topic for a lot of community groups. If you have called any public office or called our office specifically about reports, we urge you to fill out a 311 ticket. I will link that in my message when I add that to the chat. We urge you to fill out a 311 ticket as well as report it to an incident report through the Office of Cannabis Regulation for the city. If you do that first, then we can escalate with 311 if you don't hear back from them or they didn't really give you any more information on the situation. At least we have that case that we can sort of refer back to. Sometimes people call our office first and then we call 311 and they're like, well, if they don't put it in, then technically it doesn't exist. And then we get into this sort of waiting circle. And so I will link that information down for you guys as well. Our office hours have changed. We have a walk-in office policy where you can meet with anyone on our constituent services team. Those hours are Tuesday through Friday, 9 to 5, Saturday, 10 to 3. I'm in the office Tuesday afternoons, 1 through 4, and then Saturdays, 10 to 3. So you can stop by and visit me specifically. If you have any questions, you have the case that wasn't necessarily answered. We have received an influx in the amount of cases that we received, so we have a wait list. If you have any questions about an issue that you specifically reported, definitely email me, reach out to me. I will add my information there. Any questions for the office?
Tina, I'm going to mute you. You got some background noise. All right, I do not see any questions. Thank you very
Okay.
much.
No problem. And I've added that information in the chat. So hopefully that's helpful.
Perfect. Next up, we have Nina Norwood from Congressman Espaillat's office.
Thank you very much, Barry. Thank you very much to District Manager Yutha and the entirety of Community Board 9. Thank you very much for hosting me this evening, and happy Women's History Month to everyone. I definitely want to start by saying thank you to all the wonderful mentions of our office that have been said already on the call. As you can see, Congressman Espaillat's office remains engaged in making sure we know what's going on in the community and staying on the forefront of the information as it's coming in. So the congressman has been traveling, and we expect him to be back in the district soon, which means we're going to be back putting on a tremendous amount of events. Of course, always free to the community. We want everyone to come out and engage. As you can see, we fill up fast, but it's a good thing because then that means people are engaged. People are coming out. They're making their opinions heard and their concerns, and we are listening, and we remain on top of constituent services. Our office is open Monday through Friday. 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. So if anyone is in need of services, please have them reach out to my office. I'll put my information down in the chat. Other than that, unless there's any questions for me, that will be the conclusion of my report. Thank you so much.
Are there any questions for Congressman Espaillat's office for Nina? All right. I think you win tonight for the update with the most brevity.
Brevity.
Thank you.
That's right.
So Senator Clare's office, anyone here? I thought I saw someone, Assemblymember Dickens, Assemblymember Taylor. Do we have the district attorney's office by chance? Or the city controller? Any other electeds? Going once, going twice. All right. We will now proceed to our action items, and we will take a pause and come back if the Deputy Royal President arrives. Yes. Yes. They stated that they are all open and accepting walk-ins. Walt, you got your hand up.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Did Minor White speak for
No, we're waiting on
oh, okay. All right, then I'll hold.
James.
All right.
All right. So we're going to move to action items. Our first action item, which I will share, if you'll give me a moment to open it, is a resolution. And unlike most citywide zoning text amendments, we're asking them to do this one rather than them having us comment on it. So, can everyone see? This differs slightly from the version in your packet because the version in your packet accidentally included some things that said insert here still. So those have been cleaned up. But to set the stage for this resolution, as everyone knows, we're in a housing crisis. 53% of New York renters are officially rent burdened, and Mayor Eric Adams has called for constructing 500,000 new housing units in the next decade. Governor Hochul has similarly proposed requiring towns and localities served by the MTA to increase housing units in their jurisdictions by 3% over a 3-year cycle. However, if you look at where we're sitting right now, we're actually sitting in the village of Manhattanville, which was moderately developed at the time of the 1890s. But to the south of us, where Morningside Heights is, and to the north of us, where Hamilton Heights is, we're mostly fields, empty fields, hills, some farmhouses, some standalone houses. Through the 1890s, and the road, which is now Broadway, the Bloomingdale Road, made its way up to White Plains. All of that changed very, very rapidly in about 1899 to 1905 when most of those two neighborhoods was built in the span of a decade. And the reason you went from fields to 6 to 15-story buildings in 10 years is because the subway was announced that it would be built. So everybody speculated and threw up buildings in actually reasonably good shape, actually 100 years later. So they built them better back then. But
yes, they did.
This went from rural and exurban or suburban to urban pretty much overnight. And so you'll notice that that doesn't happen anymore, though. So the city, for whatever reason, continues to prioritize rezonings that add additional density in Manhattan and other areas that are already dense. So if you look at the rezonings over the past decade, we've had East Harlem, where there were already over 60,000 people per square mile. Soho, where despite all of the news, there were already over 50,000 people per square mile. Inwood, which had over 40,000 people per square mile. And Morningside Heights, which is still going through its rezoning, has over 68,000 people per square mile already before the rezoning. So the average population density of the city as a whole is 27,000 per square mile, which is about half of most of those neighborhoods. And yet the additional density was being placed in places that were already dense. And if you look at areas with R1, R2, or R3 zoning, it drops way down to like below 20,000 per square mile. So much of the new development in these neighborhoods that are being rezoned is going to be priced at prices well above the area median income and what is affordable to people in the neighborhood. So the average income in CB9 is about 40% of New York City's AMI as defined by the federal Department of Housing and Urban Development. So meanwhile, while all of this is happening in our communities, there exist over 300,000 lots in New York City that have suburban, car-centric, low-density zoning under the categories of R1, R2, and R3, and their variants. And I will show you pictures of what that looks like in a moment. And these have essentially frozen the boundaries of the city core beginning in the 1950s and 60s. So you can't just throw up a 12-story building in an area in Queens near a Long Island Railroad station. Why? Because many of those are zoned for single family houses on lots that have requirements for front yards, backyards, and side yards, and that permit you to build less than one FAR, as it's known, which is a measurement of square footage compared to the size of the lot. So it is unfair that these neighborhoods like Broadway in Queens, or Murray Hill, or all of Staten Island, or Hollis in Queens, many of them are in Queens, are not expected to contribute to the housing while we get a bunch of new market rate housing. And whereas the next level up from those, R4, allow for single and two-family housing and small multifamily housing like townhouses, triplexes, quadplexes, and other smaller multiplex housing that are still lower profile, meaning the maximum height is usually 25 feet or 35 feet, so 2 to 3 stories, and would not disrupt the character of those neighborhoods, but would allow them to increase the property owner's right to add housing to their land, and could result in adding up to 298,000 new units of housing if those new property rights were fully exercised, which they wouldn't be. But that's assuming a very large square footage of 2,500 square feet per unit. You would get 298,000 units if everything were fully developed. If these R1, R2, and R3 zones were modified to say, you know what, you can do in those zones whatever you would do in R4. And so it would raise their property values because they would be able to build more on their property. And we are also calling for the Department of City Planning to allow them to build accessory dwelling units, which are like, let's say you have a large backyard, you could put up like a 1-story, basically 1 or 2 bedroom apartment size building in the back, And those are frequently known as mother-in-law units or cottages, what have you, like in the back. And so if you have an older relative maybe who can't quite live on their own anymore, but still wants to maintain their independence and have their own home, frequently these, you could move them into the backyard unit of your home. Or if you have a young person returning from school or who's moving back home after being away, and you want to keep them close, an accessory dwelling unit would be the way to go. So I will also note that a lot of the reason that the 61 zoning code also favored suburban development and wanted to discourage density was that they associated density with tenement living and frequently were motivated by prejudices against those who inhabited densely developed neighborhoods, such as Black Americans, recent immigrants, Puerto Rican Americans, and immigrants from Italy, the Pale of Russian settlement where Jewish immigrants came from, and many other places. And so we are calling, therefore, on the Department of City Planning to consider a citywide text amendment to modify the rules of R1, R2, and R3 to basically be the same as R4, and to make it easy to allow detached or semi-detached accessory dwelling units that already have single-family or two-family homes on them. And we would further call on the City Planning Department to prioritize projects and text amendments that expand the core of R5 or higher zoning into less dense areas rather than expanding the density of already dense areas. And then we also would urge additional resources for increased prevention of deed theft through education and prosecution. This would come from the Attorney General's office, district attorneys, borough sheriffs, the New York State Department of Financial Services, and the City Department of Finance, including the Office of the City Registrar and the court systems. And we would further call on New York City Transit and the Department of Transportation to increase mass transit to affected areas that would gain density. And if you give me just a moment, I am going to show you what R1, R2, and R3 look like compared to R4. Well, note that this applies to New York City, which means that these restrictions that only allow this stuff to be built are within city limits. So this is what R1 districts look like usually. This is Jamaica Estates, Staten Island, Fieldston in the Bronx. They were large and wider lots than normal, large yard requirements and open space requirements, and a floor. You can only build square footage equal to half the square footage of your lot. So this is what these buildings tend to look like generally. If we look at R2, similar, but a little scaled down. This is the typical of R2 developments. These are single family homes mostly on somewhat smaller lots. And then R3 is still on yet smaller lots and allows for more duplexes and triplexes. And so R3, we see Bronx, Queens, Staten Island, and South Brooklyn. And this is what R4 looks like. So we're saying that if you're zoned R1, R2, R3, you should be able to build what you can build in R4, which are semi-attached or attached units. It's still 2 or 3 stories high, but you do get more like fourplexes, triplexes, etc. So this is our regular R4, kind of attached houses or duplexes. R4A is a little bit more contextual, but allows for taller stuff and longer, like taller and longer houses, which you see a lot in Boston. And then R4B are these kind of conjoined townhouses that are lower than the normal Manhattan townhouse. So we're saying if it's currently zoned R1 or R2 or R3, you shouldn't stop somebody who owns the land from building more dense like this.
I wish I could vote.
DCP speaks that you say are. But that is the proposal. There's a lot of numbers and letters, but I hope.
What are you proposing?
What's that?
Is anything that you've shown us on this screen, I'm sorry to interrupt, Barry, is anything on this screen that you've shown us in the proposal that you are proposing for this neighborhood?
Where's, for our neighborhood?
Yes.
No, there is nothing lower than I think R6, maybe R5 in our neighborhood. You do not see anything that looks like that in our neighborhood.
Okay, so what is R6 or whatever that you're proposing? What does it look like?
No, we're proposing R4, which looks like this.
R4.
This is R4. Yes. Are there any, did that answer your question, Reverend Caldwell?
In other words, you're going to put larger buildings around smaller buildings.
Important to note.
Is that what you're saying, in fact?
It's important to note that no one is required to build anything. They now will just have the option to build things.
Oh, okay. So you're determining zoning. I see.
Yes.
Thank you. I'm trying to understand. That's all, Barry.
No, it's a good question. Tiffany and then Heather.
So first of all, thank you, Barry, for mentioning the issue about deed theft that which during our housing meeting I mentioned is particularly happening in mostly Black Caribbean neighborhoods in Brooklyn. I'm sure this is happening in other communities of color. I think it's great that we're having, or at least we're figuring out how we can move forward with the district attorney. I am concerned, however, that future district attorneys might not push for something like this. So what I would really like to see is that there's legislation that is more severe on people that commit acts of deed theft. The other concern is, although I fully support this for R1, I'm not sure how I feel about R3 and R4, because a lot of those houses that you showed look like communities in these areas of East Flatbush, Brooklyn. Again, these are predominantly Black communities in Brooklyn. And while the owner of those houses in that particular moment are not required to change the structure, my concern is when that person eventually passes on or decides to sell, families that normally might buy those homes, these homes were built for middle-class families a century ago. The person who then gets onto the market are these developers who have been through, by hook or crook, or even legally, acquiring many of these private homes and turning them into deeply unaffordable, even smaller versions of the tower that we had that was being proposed on 142nd Street. So I fully support this for R1. I would like to see a little bit more or learn a little bit more for R3 and R4.
So I'm going to clarify. Do you mean R2 and R3? You support it for R1. You want more about R2 and R3?
I definitely support it for R1. I can't say the same certainty for R2, and R3 and R4 give me pause.
So nothing about R4 would change. R4 is not affected by this. What we're saying is that R1, R2, and R3 should be made to have the same restrictions as R4. And so if you look at the map that's shared on my screen right now, this is where the R1, R2, and R3 districts are. There's a couple very bit far in the Bronx. There's a big swath of it out here in Queens, and I'm going to zoom in so we can see the neighborhood tabulation names. Where are those? Community district, neighborhood tabulation areas. So
I like to go through things with a more fine-tooth comb. I feel like when policies are made, some things get slipped through the cracks. So when the homes that you showed in Jamaica Estates and Staten Island, 100%, I agree with you. But I would like to just be more thorough in looking at some of the other homes instead of just sort of glowing through them really quickly.
Yeah.
Okay. What's up next? Heather?
Yeah, thank you, Barry. Thank you all for your comments. And, I appreciate some of the changes that you've made, but the primary issue that I deal with on the Landmarks Preservation and Parks Committee is that when an owner wants to build a new structure on their home or an expansion, it interferes with the sunlight and livability of the surrounding neighbors. This is not what someone bargained for when they purchased their property initially. Everyone can't afford to build a new structure on their property. It appears when the zoning is changed, then new structures can be built as of right, which is a slippery slope. There's more than adequate vacant housing in commercial buildings in New York City that can be renovated or repurposed to handle the housing crisis rather than banishing people to the suburbs and promoting further gentrification. Harlem, for an example, lost more than 5,000 Black people over a decade, while nearly 9,000 white people moved in, according to census data analyzed by the New York Times. Bedford-Stuyvesant lost more than 22,000 Black residents while gaining 30,000 white residents. And just since 2017, about 50,000 Black students have left K through 12 district schools, a decline of nearly 22%. People of color want to also experience the American dream of home ownership, which they may prefer moving to southern states rather than New York City suburbs, according to a recent New York Times article that I believe Edwin brought to my attention. It's like saying that someone would prefer to be a sharecropper than own a farm. Again, increased density with new structures, which results in an increase in property taxes and the surrounding market value is of all properties, which makes it unaffordable to the average person in our community is very troublesome to me.
So I'm going to take that question.
And I'm just, and also I kind of cringe because I think about Seneca Village, which was a Black community prior to Central Park. I think about the African burial ground. And what you're proposing is not solving the housing crisis. It's displacing more vulnerable people in our community. And this is what I have an issue with.
I want to answer several of those issues. One,
thank you.
No one in our community would be displaced in terms of being in Harlem because there is no R1, R2, or R3 in Harlem. Number two, most of these so the neighborhoods that have been mentioned, Crown Heights, Bedford-Stuyvesant, you will see on here that there is not a single lot in Bedford-Stuyvesant or Crown Heights that would be affected by this.
But this is not addressing the housing crisis in our community.
Can I answer your questions? So part of the issue with housing crisis is that the reason this affects us is because it's always our neighborhood that's expected to shoulder the burden of ever more development. While these neighborhoods, which are not generally African-American, Howard Beach and Lindenwood are not African-American. Sheepshead Bay and Brighton Beach, African-American.
So the rich get richer by being able to add additional structures onto their property, and then and the poor get poor.
Well, no, but the poor then at least don't get priced out of the neighborhood they've lived in.
They're priced out because
hold on, you're changing your arguments every time.
So no, I just don't see how this is helping our community.
Heather, let me finish. Whitestone, Bay Terrace, Murray Hill Broadway Flushing, Bayside, Douglaston Little Neck, Glen Oaks Floral Park, New Hyde Park, Belrose, Fresh Meadows Utopia, Woodhaven, Midwood, Madison, Coney Island, all of Staten Island functionally. And then if we look, there really isn't much in Brooklyn besides Howard Beach. And then if we look in the Bronx, it is Riverdale. And looks like part of Pelham Bay, Throgs now.
As of right is a slippery slope. It's a slippery
No.
slope.
None of those neighborhoods, to my knowledge, have large concentrations of African American or Latino minorities.
Well, that's a problem because the diversity needs to be able to be spread out everywhere, and home ownership for people of color is very important.
I agree, but so you're saying you shouldn't have to flee to the suburbs. My answer to that is that there shouldn't be suburbs within the boundary of New York City. And all of those neighborhoods I just called out are suburbs, and they were designated as suburbs where you had to build single-family homes on these lots, which basically meant you had to use cars, because back in the 1950s and 60s, people thought that neighborhoods like ours were dirty and full of people they didn't want to live.
They fled our communities to the suburbs.
They fled.
And now they are coming back, and this is gentrification. This is a textbook case of gentrification.
No, it's not.
Let Barry.
This is a textbook.
This isn't gonna affect our community.
Well,
because
but if it does affect our community, it will be because some Columbia graduate decides that they'd rather live in Murray Hill in Queens, where they can take a 15-minute Long Island Railroad train to Penn and still live in a lower density neighborhood, rather than split a room in a 3-bedroom apartment with 2 other recent graduates and pay $1,200 a month and squeeze out like Doña Garcia, who's been there 50 years. Like that's how it affects our neighborhood, is by removing the pressure from us, by allowing more units to be built in neighborhoods that right now are saying, nope, we want to stay the exact same as we've been since the 1960s. Annette, you have your hand up.
This proposal in layman terms is simply saying, let these areas bear their fair share of the burden.
right.
Yes, okay, that is correct. Juan, you have your hand up.
First, somebody has their mic on and it keeps interrupting whoever is speaking. Second thing, this is reversing those red districts, redlining. These suburbs took place because banks decided we gotta keep our housing for ourselves. And this is trying to reverse that, right? This is not gentrifying anything. It's actually opening up everybody. Can we please put our mics off until we have the floor? It's very straightforward. Make people who have a lot of space for a garden in 3 backyards, in a garage, in 3 cars, to make them build something so that people like me, who has lived in this apartment for a long time, can get something better, can get something out there in the suburbs. The end. That's all I have to say.
All right, thank you, Juan. Edwin, you have your hand up.
I would say that the flip side to this is, right, you know, those folks of color who own their home, who were able to stay there, and potentially might want to take advantage of something like this, we are depriving them of increasing their wealth by saying, look, you know, you can do what other communities have done. And let's face it, the reality is that our kids, us, ourselves, we're being priced out of the community because you cannot afford to live here. The density that we have, you know, is unsustainable. And these communities is going to allow us to have that pipe to release some of that pressure. And we already are saturated. We are trying to figure out how can we build more. Well, you have land that is within the adjacent communities of ours that we can build with. So, you know, yes, this is something that I fully support because I am living this myself and I see it. And you know, we have to adapt to the demand and the realities that we live in today.
All right, Edwin, thank you. Reverend Caldwell, give your hand up.
Oh, well, I thought I had put it down, but basically I thought I'm going to piggyback a little bit. Okay. I'm going to piggyback on what Heather spoke about. This is a textbook gentrification move. And basically what you do is you bring other people in, you change their income per capita, and you move out of Harlem, the largest concentration of African-American people in the United States of America. And we have been sitting still for this for a long time, but this gentrification move, this is textbook gentrification, and I will not vote for it. If there's a vote coming up for
No,
this,
it's not.
it's already no. It's no. The end.
Can we move on? Can we move on? On the R4 zoning variance, are we in favor of what is in the R4 zoning variance?
So we are in this reso.
No. Just that, I just want an answer on that. As far as we are concerned, what we know, are we in favor of what is in the R4 zoning variance? Yes or no? That's what I.
Yes, R4, yes.
If we are, then I would approve this amendment, which would take R1, 2, 3, and whoever else and make them honor R4. I'm done.
All right, thank you.
I couldn't really hear what she was saying. Yeah.
Ms. Dunn was saying that she is in favor of it because she is opposed to R1, R2, and R3.
Thank you.
Okay. I had raised my hand before. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to make this
Is that a legacy hand, or you want to?
No, I had raised it, and I'm sorry to belabor the point, but
Oh, yes. I know what they are. Yes.
So I put in the chat, it was an article. This is sort of piggybacking off of a point that it was a point that Heather raised, but I had also raised it in a previous board meeting. And it's really worth noting. And also our our Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez also pointed it out more recently, is that New York City has more vacant homes, and you don't have to look too far, even right here in this neighborhood, the number of vacant entire buildings, than there are people living in homeless shelters. And that article from AOC points out that for every one person experiencing homelessness, there are 3 vacant apartments in the city, which everyone should be outraged by. I truly believe that we could actually end homelessness just by requiring landlords to either sell or rent these spaces. So it doesn't have to be a zero sum, either it's this or it's homelessness. There are many solutions that we can take. I think this would also allow people to just do a more thorough investigation of what this really means. One of my concerns is that when a policy is made like this, the reality is it's that people of color are going to be affected by it in those boroughs. Although we don't live in those boroughs, I don't want to beggar thy neighbor in Queens or in Brooklyn or what have you. Particularly vulnerable communities. I'm not talking about certain areas of Jamaica Estates or Staten Island. I'm talking about a policy is made with very good intentions, but the reality becomes different from the theory. That's the only concern that I have. Otherwise, I think it's a great idea that you have, Barry.
Thank you. I think someone else raised their hand, but I can't see. Sorry. Nope. I don't think anyone else. Any other?
Barry, I have a quick question. This is just a letter, an advisory letter of recommendation, or is this going to be policy?
This is a resolution. That's an excellent point, Miriam. This is a resolution. We would be calling on the Department of City Planning to undertake to do this text amendment. And in order to do the text amendment, they must go through ULURP, which means they've got to do an environmental impact study, do a racial impact or equity and impact study, which is a new requirement now, go before all of the community boards to explain this, and then hold public hearings, and then go before the City Planning Commission and hold a public hearing, and then go before the City Council, public hearing, and the City Council votes. So
we're just issuing a letter asking them to do this. They don't have to do it.
If they did this, it would be a 3-year process, minimum.
Okay, I just wanted to clarify because I hear a lot of people talking policy, and I just want to be clear, this is a letter, an advisory letter suggesting that we do this. This is not policy.
I think it does create an opportunity though for policy to be mirrored off of this. So I think that's why people are bringing up the policy connections.
I understand, but then this isn't the context, like we're literally voting, you know what I mean? Like if we want to elaborate on policy, I don't know that talking about it for 2 hours at nauseum is we're gonna get there.
So I'm gonna call, is there any
So
further?
we're gonna raise a vote.
So I think we've talked about it for 30 minutes. And I think from the comments that I've written in the chat, I think there needs to be some due diligence around the racial implications that this will have across a variety of communities. And this doesn't really solve root causes or issues of the problems that we're seeing with housing.
All right.
Valid.
Victor?
Barry, you did mention the neighborhoods that this was happening in. Can you repeat them or someone put them in the chat? Because clearly we're not familiar with Queens, but pretty much a lot of the neighborhoods you mentioned are upper middle class. And if anyone knows the demographics of Queens, it is the most diverse borough. You're gonna have East Asian, Hispanic, you're gonna have every ethnicity in the neighborhoods we mentioned. It's not black or white. Queens is not Manhattan.
Right. So you can see them on the screen. I'm not going to name all of them, but it goes from Whitestone, College Point, Murray Hill, Douglaston, Bayside, Auburndale, Glen Oaks, Belrose, Jamaica Estates, Queens Village, Cambria Heights, Laurelton, Rosedale, Paisley Park, South Ozone Park, Howard Beach, a little bit of Canarsie, Bergen Beach, Sheepshead Bay, Brighton Beach, tiny bit of Coney Island, most of Staten Island, Riverdale, a little bit of Froston. So Victor Edwards has requested that we call the vote. I am going to do a roll call vote. I'm going to start with Joyce Adewume. How do you vote?
Yes, Barry.
Walter?
Yes.
Jean Arundel, how do you vote?
Your voice dropped, Barry.
Yes. We can't hear you.
Miriam Christie?
Yes.
Great. Deirdre McIntosh Brown, how do you vote? Deirdre?
No.
All right. Come back. Reverend?
No. No.
Dan Cohen, how do you vote? Dan Cohen?
I vote yes. Okay.
Harry.
What, Carolyn?
Deidre is muted.
Yes, we haven't heard a vote from her yet, but we'll come back. Juan Pulmonares, how do you vote?
Yes.
Carlton Davis, how do you vote? Yes. Monica Dula, how do you vote?
Yes.
Marita Dunn, how do you vote?
Yes.
Victor Edwards, how do you vote? Sean Farrow. I don't think he's here. Hugo Torres Fetzko, how do you vote? Hugo?
Yes.
I thought I saw.
We went there.
Lydia Garrison, how do you vote?
No.
John Martin Green, how do you vote?
Yes.
John Martin Green votes yes. David Hansel, how do you vote?
I'm going to vote no.
David Hansel votes no. Daria Hardiman, are you here? Do not see Daria. Monique Hardin Cordero, how do you vote?
Yes.
Laquita Henry, how do you vote?
Yes.
Alex Hunter? Heather Jason, how do you vote?
No.
Heather Jason votes no. Derek Johnson, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Derek Johnson abstains. Pat Watler Johnson, how do you vote?
I abstain.
Pat Watler Johnson abstains. Tiffany Khan, how do you vote?
It's not a definitive no, it's more, I would like to learn more about the particular streets, if that makes sense. Again, I
Is
want to be more thorough. I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
that a no?
It's a no for now, but I'd like to come back to it. If we could
All
just
right.
individual.
Ted Kovalev is excused. Tina Lumley, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Tina Lumley abstains. Aurelius Mejia, how do you vote?
Yes.
Aurelius Mejia votes yes. Ilana Mercado, are you on? Don't hear Ilana. Ken Miles, are you on? Signe Mortensen, how do you vote?
Yes.
Signe Mortensen votes yes. Michael Palma, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Michael Palma votes yes. Solomon Prophet, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Solomon Prophet votes yes. Carolina Ramirez, how do you vote?
I'm in the same boat as Tiffany. I have a tentative no. I think we need more time on this.
Noted. Patricia Ramos, how do you vote?
Yes.
Patricia Ramos votes yes. Annette Robinson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Annette Robinson votes yes. Jonathan Sinegat? Here. Reverend Morgan Thomas, how do you vote?
Yes.
Morgan Thomas votes yes. Jonathan Thomas, you here? Carolyn Thompson, how do you vote?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, and Edmund votes yes. Liz Whitetakis is excused. Barry Weinberg votes yes. Shanika Wilson, how do you vote? Shanika? She was here. Yeah, Shanika was here. Shanika? Oh, she was here. All right. Because I have her marked down. Deirdre, how do you vote? We didn't get an answer from you yet. Deirdre McIntosh Brown? I mean, she's muted, but all right. Well, assuming the no's are no's and assuming Deirdre and Shanika haven't voted, I did get ones. Yes, yes. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 23 in favor, 6 opposed, and 3 abstentions. So the reso carries.
It's not false.
Again, it is, yes, it's something we will send to DCP. The next action, or actually we have the deputy borough president on, I noticed. I'm going to attempt to promote you, and you just have to accept the promotion to become a panelist. Deputy Borough President Keisha Sutton James, are you able to unmute?
I think I have. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay,
we
awesome.
can.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for allowing me to hop in the midst of serious business. It's been a little bit of a crazy evening for me. Happy Women's History Month, everyone. Congratulations to 125th Street Bid President and CEO Barbara Askins on receiving her Audie Award as well. Want to hop straight in. First thing on that I wanted to to talk about is the scaffolding report. Last week, the BP released a report on scaffolding, which if Mina can drop in the chat would be awesome. But it basically covers a number of strategies that will help us to mitigate the scaffolding issue that exists in the city. I should note that 40% of the city scaffoldings are
family for this marathon of meetings.
40% of the scaffoldings in the city are actually in Manhattan because they tend to be around taller buildings and certain buildings. So this really is a very big Manhattan issue. So there are a number of strategies that we are proposing. One, providing support for buildings who need help getting work done, financial support for meaning a a short-term line of credit for buildings to be able to get the work done more quickly, and therefore be able to get the scaffolding down. Reduce delays caused by permitting requirements and disputes with neighboring properties, to hold buildings accountable for failure to complete facade work quickly and expeditiously erect and remove sidewalk sheds. And then finally, extend local law 11 compliance cycles in certain instances. Local law 11 cycles for 2 years for buildings that complete major facade renovations, for example. So that, the thought is that if you've completed a major facade, you perhaps don't need to have to be, you can have an extended period, if you will. Number 2, shifting community board applications. Woohoo! For those of you who, as the borough president said this morning, you really on borough board made me laugh. Those of you who may be procrastinating on your reapplication, or for those of you in the community who have not yet applied, tomorrow was supposed to be the deadline, but yay, we are extending the deadline until March 31st. So if you want your voice to be heard, or if you are invested in your neighborhood, you want to make a difference in civic government, please apply. We have done particular extended outreach, if you will, to underrepresented groups on island-wide, frankly, and those a couple of those groups are youth and NYCHA residents. We've done a number of events and a number of different with a number of different organizations, but we continue to encourage each of you community members and community board members to share the link and encourage other people to apply. And finally, in our report, we are going to be having a terrific Women's Herstory Month event next week. Come celebrate with our office at Hunter College's Roosevelt House, which is located at 49 East 65th Street, which is between Park and Madison, to celebrate women in health and wellness on March 22nd at 6 p.m. I believe that's next Wednesday. Yes. At 6 p.m. We hope that many of you will come out and enjoy last week's Women's Herstory event. Was really last year's Women's Herstory event was really special. And I'm expecting that this year's will be as well. Thank you, Miriam. I love the tree hugger ads. There are other ones. If you guys haven't seen, we have some really catchy ads on the Link NYCs and elsewhere, encouraging people to join the community boards, to apply to join the community boards. And one of them is, they stand out. Thank you, Miriam. One of them is Tree Huggers Welcome. Another one, I think it says, don't let these guys know more about your neighborhood than you do. And it's a picture of rats. So they're catchy little ads that really, kind of grab your attention, which thank you for noticing, Miriam. Thank you. And that concludes my report. Thank you so much. Unless anybody has any questions, I will let you return back to your Walter.
Thank you very much. Yes, we have a question from Walter.
Good evening, Keisha. Thank you for coming. Now, one of my neighbors was very upset. A dog pooped right in front of the building. He took a video of it. He could not catch the guy's face, but the guy bent down to pick it up, but walked away and left a big blob of poop right there on St. Nicholas and 149th Street, that beautiful building there. Turns out that the owner of the dog is affiliated with the illegal cannabis place that's been on St. Nicholas and 148th, 149th Street since the summer. During the summer, there was one incident around there where someone was shot. The place was boarded up, thinking that it was closed for good. It is now back open. And as of yesterday or the day before, the folks have constructed a kiosk or something, which is right next to the restaurant, the Tijan restaurant, and it's in the street and it's illegal. I think they're really getting bolder. Point of preference, 148th and St. Nicholas right on the corner. It seems to be an upcoming licensable cannabis outlet, but they haven't gotten the license yet, so they haven't opened, but they fixed the place up fabulous. I mean, you know, but it looks like if they do it legitimately, fine. Even if the illegal folks work with the legal folks, that's fine. But I think right now they're getting a little beside themselves and they're ruling the neighborhood. And a lot of these folks are, well, I might be wrong, maybe gang members, and at any point violence can jump off. So, you know, guns being shot off at, you know, all over the city, you know, at any given point. That, as I see Gail Brewer down in her area, they went and did a scan, a scout of some of the, they haven't come up here. I haven't seen them up here. So, I mean, I don't smoke. I used to, but I'm not against marijuana. I'm not against
Walter,
illegal.
they're flicking the lights on us. Is
Huh?
there a follow-up you'd like from the borough
Okay,
president's office?
how to report the dog poop, and how do I get them somebody to look at that illegal place? But it's
Wait.
not in Barry. Y'all went off on that to R1 and R2 and R3 and R4.
Oh my God.
Okay,
Okay,
Barry,
Barry folded over in hysterics, it appears, on this little tiny screen that I'm looking through. So Mina dropped in the chat the email to whom or to which you can report any illicit cannabis establishment. I want to make it real clear. It is illegal. It is not a licensed establishment. There are only 3 in all in New York State, and they're all MCB3. So all of the ones that you are seeing are not licensed. And if they are operating illegally, which the ones in your neighborhood are, then they will also be banned from getting a license, you know, once they can apply for one, if you will. So please do the enforcement.
I filled the form out today. Go ahead, but now how do we report the dog poop stuff? Because that's really happening a lot around here too.
Is it really? That's a really great question. I'm thinking there is a 311. There may be.
Yes, 311.
That's what I thought. Yes.
Tell your neighbors to do it too, so you know there can be increased enforcement.
Say that again, Mina.
So like your neighbors, if they're seeing it a lot and they're reporting through on one, we would hope that increased enforcement would happen there. If not, then you know maybe shoot us an email if you're not seeing enforcement.
What, Mina? You're fading out.
So if you're seeing a lot of dog poop in that particular area, I would just ask that you and your neighbors make 311 calls, because those 311 calls are supposed to alert the city agencies that this area needs more enforcement. So, but if you're not seeing any changes in, you know, the enforcement piece, then flag for our office so we can let sanitation know.
And I just wanted to piggyback on that. For those who don't, I get surprised every day at the number of people who don't know about the 311 app. It's a much more efficient way to get to 311. So just go on your phone. It's available on all the systems. Download the 311 app, and it's much faster and easier than doing the phone call, if you are so inclined.
Thank you both.
May I?
Thank you, Barry.
I wanted to make one more comment if I could, as we talk about dog poop. Even if we get people to pick it up, which we should, they have to have somewhere to put the dog poop. And we don't have enough garbage cans. There are not adequate garbage cans on the corner of 145th, 146th, and almost going up to 147th. So even if people are trying to comply, they have nowhere to put the poop. That's all I'm saying.
It's garbage cans in the corner.
Duly noted,
Exactly. Thank you.
Tina Lumley, you have your hand up. Please.
This is real quick. On 125th Street every morning, overturn garbage cans. In Morningside Park, overturn garbage cans. And the poor businessmen and the poor parks folks have to clean it up all the time. Can something be done?
Sorry. This is that is a great question. It's the first time I ever heard of this. I guess we can reach out to DSNY to ensure that they are working through, you know, as they are doing their rounds. That first of all, I hope they're not turning over the garbage cans. These are filled garbage.
These are filled garbage cans, I think people are going through them looking for cans, or I don't know why they're doing it. They're just doing it very consistently.
This is on 125th and which avenues?
Between Manhattan, between Morningside, and is specifically on St. Nicholas in front of CBS, just about every morning.
Okay. Okay.
Is
CBS.
it overturned or is it filled? Is it overflowing?
No, someone is actually turning it over, and the garbage is spewing all over the place. They may be looking for something. I'm not saying why they're doing it, but someone is doing it.
I think
We can check with the bid too.
and we will escalate it, but they're flicking the lights on us here. I don't know if folks can see that.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Borough President Sutton James. Thank you, Nina, for bearing with us. We have a few more action items that we need to get through, and an executive session item. So I'm going to keep it rolling. Laquita, you or someone from your committee is up to talk about the letter of support regarding Energy Efficiency and Jobs Act, Senate Bill 2469, Assembly Bill 2655.
Edwin, do you want to go for it? I have to pull it up. Let me. Oh, here it is. WEACT had come to us with a presentation on a bill that they have that's in the assembly right now, and it deals with energy efficiency, equity, and jobs. The letter of support supports their efforts for the community to have fair share of positions that will come available in this with the energy efficiency efforts that are taking place. It also will see to it that homeowners have resources, funding, and can get what they need to remove mold, lead, and asbestos from housing. Because otherwise, if they don't have the funding, they're not allowed to get they won't be able to get the energy efficiency. So it supports WEACT's efforts there, and which supports our community. That's it in a nutshell.
Unanimous consent.
Member Aristi Ferrer has requested unanimous consent.
Second.
Yes,
Second.
second.
By Member Robinson. Does anyone oppose unanimous consent on this letter of support? If so, speak now. Going once, going twice. The letter of support is passed by unanimous consent.
Thank you, everyone.
The next items will be presented as a slate. They are items 3 through 7. They are liquor license renewals. Carolyn or Pat, would you like to walk us through them?
Can you hear me?
Yes, but speak loudly anyway.
The first one is Rah Corporation. It's a restaurant. It's been approved by the 26th precinct with no problem. Second one, Dear Mama, located at 611 West 125th Street.
Right.
26th precinct with no problem. Third one, Jalal Restaurant, located at 3533 Broadway. 30th precinct approved it, no issues there.
That's doing business as Nuevo Caridad, by the way, I think.
The Express, located at 6014 Place, aka 195 Claremont Avenue, was approved by the 26th precinct, no issues there. Petici Restaurant, located at 125 LaSalle Street, approved by the 26th precinct with no issues there.
All right. Does your
Unanimous
Unanimous
consent.
consent. That's right. Second.
Member Green, seconded by Member Lumley. If you
Heather
oppose-
abstains.
Heather abstains.
Patricia Caldwell abstained.
Members Jason and Caldwell abstain.
In a couple of years.
If anyone is opposed to passing these by unanimous consent, please speak now. Going once, going twice. Items 3 through 7 have been approved by unanimous consent. There's one additional item, which is kind of a returning item. We voted on it previously, but they've modified their request. It is item number 8. It is a new liquor license application for DS Morningside Residence at 30 Morningside Drive. DS is Del Shah. 30 Morningside Drive is the former St. Luke's Hospital building that was sold to developers a long time ago. I forget when I probably 2014-ish. And it is a private residence that's going to have a clubhouse for their residents.
Correct. It has no issue, Barry.
All right, so it is recommended by your committee then, Carolyn?
Yes.
Okay, Member Garrison, you have your hand up. You're muted though.
Right, I'm sorry. Is this the one that won't allow people off the street to come in?
Correct. It is a private residence lounge.
Oh, I should know.
The private club.
Is it in a multiple dwelling where there's other tenants around?
Yes, it is for the use of the tenants. It's a common area bar.
Do you know how many units are in the building?
No.
I do not remember. I did it one time. That knowledge is stored in one of my gray hairs.
So this is a private bar inside a residential building that's going to be only for use by residents.
Correct.
That sounds off.
It sounds fishy. Is the applicant the owner of the building or is the applicant a tenant?
Applicant is the resident of the building.
That doesn't sound right to me.
So a tenant.
Right, he's a resident of the building. I don't know what other part he plays in it, but he's a resident.
It's like a condo building creating its own private bar. That's
Yeah,
totally
right.
illegal.
No, it's not illegal. They're doing it in almost all the new buildings downtown. They have private clubs, outdoor areas. Yes, it's totally legal.
With liquor licenses.
With liquor licenses, yes.
Wow.
The agenda's not up. Can someone please provide the address, please? I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's 30 Morningside Drive. I'll put the agenda up momentarily.
This is an issue. I mean, really, it is an issue because they're going to have separate entrances, private bars, private clubs, and this is what
Other tenants may not like it.
Well, let me note that this is a building that does not have any separate entrances because the apartments rent for like 10 grand a month or something.
Okay, no.
The building amenity.
That's not the point, though.
That is the
I'm not sure.
That is the point.
Wait, am I on the wrong? This is the executive, but anyway, it's 30 Morningside Drive. I'm on the right.
But it's the same.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for providing that. Thank you.
I'm
All right.
curious. I'm just curious. What did the precinct say about it?
I was going in and out there.
No issue.
Precinct had no issue.
No issue.
Okay.
The police department went there, looked at it, no issue.
Right, that's a full service building. You're not strolling up in there. Anybody isn't just strolling up in there.
They're going to create their own cannabis consumption lounge too next? Is that going to be a new amenity in buildings after this?
I wouldn't be surprised if some's growing now.
So,
I hear you.
This item has closed.
Barry, could we move on?
Please call the roll.
Please.
All right, we will call the roll for this item. If you are in favor of recommending the liquor license to the State Liquor Authority for approval, say aye. If you are opposed to sending recommendation to the State Liquor Authority for them to approve this license, say nay.
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 Aye.
Nay.
Aye.
Barry.
Division of the House.
No.
Not only you vote on the issue, that's a nay.
So help me. All right, we're gonna do this and we're gonna do it fast. Joyce Adewume, how do you vote?
Nay.
Joyce votes nay. Walter
Oh,
Alexander.
no.
No. All right. Jane Arundel Johnson, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Okay, Jane votes aye. Miriam Ernesti Ferrer, how do you vote?
No.
Deirdre McIntosh Brown, how do you vote?
No, 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 no.
Okay. Patricia
Right.
Caldwell, how do you vote?
Don't matter, it's already been done.
What do you mean it's been done?
If they put it in the SLA, it probably approved it if the precinct.
Okay, hold on.
Come on.
If the precinct has approved it, that means it went through SLA or.
Carolyn, still give our recommendation. Reverend Caldwell, how do you vote on this item?
Yes or no?
Okay. Dan Cohen, how do you vote? All right, we'll come back to Dan. Juan Pulmonares, how do you vote?
No.
Okay. Carlton Davis, how do you vote? Carlton abstains. Monica Dula, how do you vote?
No.
One vote.
Yes.
Marita votes yes. Victor Edwards, how do you vote? Victor votes no. Sean Farrow, are you here? Hugo Torres Fetzko, are you here? Lydia Gerson, how do you vote?
No, if I can't drink there, no.
John Martin Green, how do you vote? Yes?
Yes.
That's a yes. David Hansel, how do you vote?
I'm abstaining on this one.
David Hansel abstains. Daria Hardiman, are you here? Monique Hardin Cordero, how do you vote?
No.
Monique votes no. Laquita Henry, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Laquita abstains. Alex Hunter. Heather Jason, how do you vote?
No.
Heather votes no. Derek Johnson, how do you vote?
Abstain.
Derek Johnson abstains. Pat Waller Johnson, how do you vote?
I'm abstaining.
Pat Waller Johnson abstains. Tiffany Khan, how do you vote?
I put it in the chat. I also abstain.
Tiffany Khan abstains. Ted Koloff is excused. Tina Lumley, how do you vote?
Positively no.
Tina Lumley votes no. Aurelius Mejia, how do you vote?
Yes.
Aurelius votes yes. Ilana Mercado, how do you vote?
I'm abstaining.
Ilana Mercado abstains. Ken Miles, are you here? Signy, how do you vote?
About abstain.
Signy abstains. Michael Palma, how do you vote?
Michael Palma votes no.
Michael Palma votes no. Solomon Prophet, how do you vote?
I vote yes.
Solomon Prophet votes yes. Carolina Ramirez, how do you vote?
No.
Carolina Ramirez votes no. Patricia Ramos, how do you vote?
No.
Ramos votes no. Lynette Robinson, how do you vote?
Yes.
That votes yes. Jonathan Synagogue? Reverend Morgan Thomas, how do you vote?
No.
Morgan Thomas votes no. Jonathan Thomas. Carolyn Thompson, how do you vote?
At this point, I don't know. Come back.
It's your committee.
Abstain.
Edwin Torres abstains, is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Barry Weinberg votes yes. Shanika Wright, or sorry, Shanika Wilson. All right, I think Shanika's still not on. Did we miss anyone? Dan Cohen, Deirdre, Carolyn, how are you voting?
Yes.
Carolyn votes yes. All right, the letter of support is defeated by a vote of 8 in favor, 16 against, and 9 abstentions. All righty. Okay, we will now be entering executive session. So no, you gotta stay. Who has to leave?
So I can leave now, right, Barry?
No, you cannot.
Good night, everybody.
You have to stay.
Oh, no.
Who has to stay? Do I have to stay?
Okay. No. This is worth noting. Executive session means that the board will be dealing with sensitive matters, usually personnel, and will be entering into a closed session. All board members or members of the committee that is meeting in executive session, in this case, the full board, must remain. However, visitors, outside folks not on the community board will have to leave. So
Thank you very much. Good night.
that is what that means. So I am.
No.
This meeting is being recorded. Hold on.
Go and pick up the tab.
Item by unanimous consent. Is there any old business? I seem to remember there was.
So we don't have to do it.
All right, hearing
Keep
no old
going.
business, is there any new business? All right, a motion to adjourn would be in order.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded, second.
Amen. Oh, yes.
Adjourn.
Good night.
Oh, yes.
Good
Oh,
night,
yes,
everybody.
yes, yes,
It's
yes,
a good
yes.
meeting.
Motion
Oh
we
my God,
we
how do I
adjourn.
How do I turn off? Where do you leave?
Is anybody hearing?
Good night.